dads, you know, they play an active role in the lives of their children, especially when they're looking awesome like that with the mustaches. It's important for dads to connect with their kids, and moms too for that matter. But joining us with 5 ways to be a better dad, we have Jeff Londraville. He's the author of The Filter, and you're here with tips. You deliberately use the word irrelevant. What do you mean by that?
Right. Relevant is pretty much responsible, and another way of saying responsible. You know, how can parents, not just fathers, but mothers, be in a child's life, especially in this day and age with social media and stuff like that? How do you stay involved? How do you stay connected to your child to get the most out of your child and stay and having a great rapport with them? That's kind of the most important thing here.
And it's a good point, because it's one thing to be there.
Right.
But you could have your nose in a book, you could be looking at your smartphone. It's another thing to be active and relevant. So looking back, your kid remembers these moments and doesn't just think, oh, well, he was there.
People get confused about presence.
Yeah.
And presence isn't just your actual physical appearance. Presence is mental as well. Yes, physical appearance is important. You should be there physically. But mentally, your child will pick up on that very quickly if you are not there. Whether it's at a certain event, whether it's a school event, whether it's a sports event, whatever it is. But more importantly, they will pick up if you're trying to connect with them. So if your child's trying to share something with you and you have your face in your iPhone, or you're trying to text somebody or email somebody, and you go, yeah, I'm paying attention, they're going to pick up on that very quickly, and that's not responsible. So please try to give your child that attention, because it's going to affect their self-esteem, their self-worth. Hey, if mom or dad's not paying attention to me, who else is going to?
Jeff, you know, it's sad but true. I'm not a parent, so I look at all of these through the fact and the lens that I'm a dog parent. And my dog even picks up on the fact when I'm petting him and looking at my phone, he's furious about it.
Right.
He doesn't love my smartphone. I think dogs pick up on it. If dogs pick up on it, kids are definitely going to.
But you know, you raise a good point. Even though it is a dog and stuff like that, it's an attention thing.
Yeah.
So you're not really paying attention to me. So physically you are there, mentally you're not there. You're not really present. And children will pick up on that, along with animals will pick up on that.
It's true.
And it'll make them feel bad. And that's really what we want to stay away from. So being responsible enough to know the difference and be aware of it is huge in being a good parent.
5 ways that you can be a relevant parent. First one, be responsible.
Yeah, responsibility is huge, and that's kind of what we're speaking of on like what you bring to the table. One of the things that parents really subconsciously really aren't aware of is that they bring their own fears, their own challenges from their own life, the way they were programmed from their parents or what happened to them, into then their own child's life. It's a different life. So you have to kind of check your fears at the door when you're being a parent. That's not easy to do because you're programmed a certain way. But you need to be aware of it. Try to be aware of it. Like, why am I thinking this way? Am I afraid that they may get hurt or something like that? And then what happens if they do get hurt? Is it bad? Is it so bad that they get hurt? Or is it just a learning experience? So you want to check your fears at the door before you portray it onto your own child's fears, which isn't always fair. So you want to be responsible of taking care of yourself, so then you can take care of your child. You know, it's like that with an airplane. You know, they always say when the oxygen mask falls, make sure you put it on yourself before you put it on your child.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with life and your thoughts and your feelings.
Yeah.
You want to take care of your own thoughts and your own feelings before you can help your child. If you don't take care of that first of all, you're not going to help your child. And it's the same thing with the oxygen mask. It's just more of a visual than an actual what you're giving them.
Another great point, a couple generations ago, even last generation, parents weren't as actively supportive of their kids. So a relevant dad in this day and age, regardless of how you were parented, a relevant parent is supportive.
Yes, and again, your kids will pick up on this, even at an early age. What does supportive mean? Now, supportive gets confusing to a lot of different parents. If I give them a ton of money, a ton of presents, well, then I'm supporting them. That's not supporting them. That's really the material way of supporting them.
It's support, but not supportive.
Exactly. And it kind of can give the wrong message. I mean, let's face it, in life, no matter who you are, you teach people how to treat you. It's very important that you teach your children how to treat you. And that's where we come in a difficult area, because we want to give our children the world. Of course we do. Sometimes we have the means of it, sometimes we don't. But we have to teach them how to treat us as well. We have to make them understand when they're given something, whether it's a material thing, whether it's love or anything like that, that they appreciate it. They know where it's coming from. We don't have to actually, you know, berate them of, you know, you don't deserve this, but you should take this. We don't say it in the wrong way, but we want them to understand really what life's all about, and really material things, love, where it comes from. So it's our responsibility to explain, coach, and parent for our children.
Also important that we be honest.
Yes, honesty is huge, and especially your kids will pick that up. Not only you as yourself will pick that up, because you know whether you're telling the truth or not, and it'll come out in different ways, whether you know it or not.
That's true. And kids are very perceptive.
That's right. They will pick up on that, and they'll call you out on that. And if they call you out on that, you're losing that respect. So you want to make sure, and one thing I try to do with both my daughters is try to explain things. This, and not excuse it, there's a difference. So yes, this is what I did, I'm not proud of this, this is why I did it. It's not, again, let me say one more time, it's not an excuse, it's an explanation so they understand. So either they don't make those mistakes or they understand the mistakes. Because this is all teaching moments. We have to be the best teachers for our children that we possibly can be. And we're only great teachers if we know more.
It's true. Next point, a relevant dad, loving, empathetic, compassionate.
Right. I think we lose this a lot, the empathy of it, because we forget what it's like to be young. We forget what it's like to be any age growing up. So we have our own fears, we have our own looks of life, our own perspective, the own lens we look through, and we say, oh, well, what's the problem here? This isn't going to be a big deal in the long run. Well, they're not coming from that lens. So you want to give empathy of how your child is seeing the world, and then kind of jump into there and be supportive and say, yeah, that must be tough. How do you think we can handle this? Work through it. You know what I mean? Your child's best counselor and your best teacher should be their parent, first of all, in life.
That's true.
Yeah.
Lastly, might be the most important thing, a relevant dad is present, and we alluded to it earlier.
Right.
But not just having your presence, but being present actively.
Right. This is difficult, especially in our day and age right now. And like we said before, you know, life's very busy. And again, with social media, it makes it more busy. There's always something to do, and there's always something in people's hands, whether it's an email or a text or anything like that. Your child will pick up a great deal if you're present. Try to be present. Again, be aware of being present. That's what makes you present, being aware of it. So if you find yourself in a conversation, and this is for all parents out there, and I have to remind myself of this too, is when you're having a conversation with your child, you want to say, okay, first of all, am I listening? Truly listening. Because there's a difference between listening and hearing. You can hear somebody but not really listen to them. So that's going to mean a lot to them. And if you, especially eye contact is huge, because a child will know you're either with them or you're not with them, you're just there. And just being there isn't enough, especially in this day and age. We want to be there for our kids mentally, physically, but also emotionally. That's what means the most.
And these little things can really go a long way. Thank you so much, Jeff. Always a pleasure having you. More parenting tips, all that kind of stuff online, mymassappeal.com.